Okay, I think I've got my audio going. I had to get my headset, the USB for the headset plugged back in. And I meant to give a little bit more warning, and I got cleaning and kind of got delayed from the schedule again. And one thing I'm going to have to watch is how the temperature is in here. I know that my headset will last. I may have to get the cooler back on here just to keep. I've got the window open. The cicadas are making a little bit of noise again. Yeah, and good to see you again, Hugh. I'm going to go through and start working with the Ball 60 again. Yeah, it's well, I don't know. You need to see the dirty case, all the dirty things to it. Um, I think it'll clean up nice, and I think that the I'll be able to get it running because I'll it may be where I just have to end up swapping all the parts out. I don't know, but I'll get a working Ball 60 again. Um, yeah, and you're quite a bit further north in in latitude than I am, Hugh. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to get the and I got this HDMI cable kind of going right across the middle. Um, but I think I'm gonna dip under it in this case. I've got to get this other cooler going. The swamp cooler in here. And so in the Southwest United States, we go through and we have we even add humidity to the air. And so, yeah, I think I'll dip under it rather than there's not any ability to step over it. And I've got the cooler pointed this direction, although I'll have to see what noise that it makes for all that. But I've got to let's get some swing on too for that. I don't think it'll be any noisier if I have it closer either, just to get a little bit more cool for the oh yeah, that's going to help. I may have to fill it with water here in a bit too. Um, okay. Am I ready to climb? And in kind of nicer clothes, and I'm crawling across the floor. And I'm still doing things like bumping cameras. Yeah. Okay, I may have to adjust once. Okay. Yeah, once I've got the camera now in position, I think I still have the internal webcam still going. To see the phase difference as I get up. Okay. And we're back at the multi-switch on the right for. Um, are you going to have to, you may have to give me kind of hot and cold indications, and I don't know how that'd work over chat. Oh, the switch box. You're talking about this, and that's a 20 DB25 pin on the back. That is actually what is coupled into my AS400, and it's supposed to be a, of course, an RS2 232 link for the so-called client access. You could have a Windows 95, Windows 90, 98, Windows NT system that was able to run software. It's not terminal software. It's not anything like an ASIC terminal or anything like that, but it's actually a Windows program that links with the AS400 for configuring it. So let me get, I probably don't need to be live necessarily on Facebook. I could have given some indications there that we were going to go, that's going to go live again. Yeah, I would have liked to have gone through some, the client access, and I will eventually. And I should still have the URL in OBS to be able to. So there's the Ball 60 link. Boy, and it's going to be. I get out here in at least in the coolness, and so let's go through. Let's just briefly power on the system again, just to show, and I want to make sure that I'm not shortening anything else out. Okay, and that's probably counting RAM. I'll have to get myself off the. Okay, so I don't have the diskette drive in there, but we see it just stop at that the 7.2, and so let me go through. I'm going to switch it back to the HDMI input. Let's go through and get me off that internal webcam, get into here or in the view of, and I had trouble even getting that diskette drive around. And so one of the first things we're going to do is we are going to pull the hard drive cage, and there are 4 screws to this. I still do have the screw down, one of the screws down from the power supply. And this thing's so badly rusted, I think I'll replace it. Anyway, I do have I have this upper cage that's rusted too. Okay. So this goes through and pulls out just so as a comparison. Let's look. This is pretty rusted, so I'll replace it. And I'll take the grounding. I need to make more of these too. So there's the bottom edge, and this system has had water in it clearly before. Now, compared to this, that's a lot cleaner. I don't even know if that's been in a system before. Okay. So let's go through, let's pull that. Okay. So I'm interested in okay. So clearly that's not going any further. We're going to detach the power cord. And the power supply. And we are going to start working at some screws. Okay, and I think those are screws are all the same. That's tight. That's loose for that screw. Okay. Should have been counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe some by this back bracket. Okay. Okay, there's one. So it's 6 underneath the diskette drive cable. Okay, here's one that's hidden. Oh, another one. And in the center of the board. Okay. So and what will be good to do is to, and this bag again has a foam, and this is seen on top of my small 64, and there's apparently I put a thing of foam on top, and it just went through, and so on the top, I'm wanting to see what the mount is like. See, this one doesn't have the 286 CPU or RAM in it, although that's about the same color green, and it looks like I probably need to work at this one screw. Let's go for the next one down. And I have a couple or a few without the 286. Okay. So this there's only one BIOS version anyway. So this has the 286 CPU and the Sims. I don't know if there's any in here with the 287 CPU, and I have some of those actually ready to yeah, so I think even though I've got 3 more in the bag, so I have five spare Model 60 planers, and as far as I know, all these work. Okay, so we need to go. There's a screw. The top there. Come on, I thought I had this loose. Okay. And I don't think. Okay. So I guess it helps if I disconnect ports before I pull the. before I pull the planer out. And this looks pretty good, actually. You know, compared to it sitting in there and me not really cleaning it. I mean, there's dust. There's dust on the top of the horizontal surfaces. But that looks pretty good. And I'll have to bench test this later on. I don't see any visible corrosion. That looks real good, actually. But in the grand scheme of things, and this looks about the same otherwise. It's got a label. That's the keyboard controller. There's a fuse for the keyboard. I mean, I could go through and could the fuse. I mean, better than visually. It might be good to check that with the multimeter. It's kind of a chance to get. And I need Russ's idea of the vacuum. Now that I got okay. Now we can see the metal plate underneath, and that's present for the ground. It's a ground plate connector, and surprisingly, I don't know why that's not necessarily well, probably through the screw here that's grounded ultimately through the planer, but the so you have that plate on the Mul 60 and 65 SX and Mul 80, but you cannot have, if you put a reply board in here, reply tells you to remove that grounding plate underneath. Let me see what's going on in the chat here. Okay. It looks like we're going fine. Okay. And so I don't necessarily need a whole bunch of fasteners for this. I will go through and I'll tighten up the few that I put in. And I want to go to the, these have a little bit more of a point on them than the other screws. Okay. And I want to put in the two around the power supply plug because I don't want to move it later on. Or if I end up fastening everything down, those two screws will already be in place at least. Okay. I'm going to put the screw that's underneath the diskette drive cable. Okay. Okay. There's some pins bent as I yes. Okay. And I don't think that was I don't think that was bent before. In other words, I don't think that was the reason for getting the error. I think it was where I when I disconnected it. Okay. I'm not going to put the diskette drive in yet. We're going to make sure that our power is connected. And our postcode reader, our keyboard, our VGA display, and our power cable. I need to clean this case a lot more. I'm putting my hands around this and getting all dirty. Okay. Not that we have to necessarily have the battery connected yet. Okay. So Get 6566, 2 beeps. Oh, so there I pressed F1 and it's beeping when I press F1. Okay. I wonder if that, okay, let's go back because I thought I was pressing F1 before and I didn't get, I mean, that was showing the same indications and it gave me beeps. I want to test the original planer because it may be good. And that's why I didn't put the drive cage back in place. That's why I only put a few screws in. Well, and until I realize that I'm okay. Get me back on the screen. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to just have everything go black. Oh, my. Wasn't seated fully. Okay, that the fuse is good. I wouldn't think that the keyboard controller is bad, but should be good. Even though, I mean, it's got just that's typical of IBM to put that amber lens over that. Okay, so this time I'll remember to take the ports loose. And I could, I could bench these planers too. I need to figure out which one, make sure that they're all good, mark them appropriately. Kind of doing the planer hokey pokey. Okay, and this is the original. There is some dust. It's up by because that's the real time, that's the CMOS. That's where it saves the configuration from the battery supply being down here. And I don't know. I probably won't even connect up the diskette drive cable this time. I'll probably just go 2 or 3 screws, just like last time. I want to go that screw for the grounding. That one doesn't want to thread. All right. Get me another screw because one just acts like it wants to be. I should get my nut driver out, and got to be a little bit better than a flat bladed screwdriver. Okay. And I thought of, in the interim, of opening up that other power supply too, just to inspect for any visual damage. Okay. Every port connected but the serial port. Okay. We have the original planer back in. Okay. 7-1. Now I didn't have the speaker connected for beeps. And I'm going to press F1. Okay. So the original planer works. If I'd have known to press F1, I'm going to go through. I want to hear if it, with the speaker connected, I want to hear if it beeps. Two beeps. A beep when I press F1. A long, long time. We have FF. Okay. 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 So it just takes its happy time and pressing F1. I will set that other planer to the side. We are going to try the diskette drive now. Let me get switched over. I'm saying that we're going to try the diskette drive. Okay. And this is the original diskette drive. A little dusty on top. Okay. Okay. This reference diskette. Okay. Wanted to get that. Okay. Okay, I saw the access light for the diskette drive come on, but then it went off. Okay. So I'm going to take that as the diskette drive is bad. At least the planer wasn't bad. Okay. Boy, this come out hard. Okay. So we're going to pull a good man, these things are there's a latch in the back. Besides the latch in the front. And it's no wonder that IBM changed these later on, because they are and that's the one that I have worked good with bad scratched out. Got it working later on. Okay, good diskette drive. Reference diskette. So what I'm wondering here is for the configuration, I want to put the drive cage back in place. There's no reason for me to go through the configuration twice. It's just going to be easier for me to go Cramp. Ow. Cramp. Okay. Let's get the power supply. Now that we know that that's good, it leaves me without a spare power supply now. But, well, without a spare Model 60 power supply. I've got a Model 80 power supply that I need to test. Okay. Okay. And I have 4 screws. Four screws left for the drive cage. And this thing looks real ugly on the outside still. I'm just wondering to pull that mess off. Okay, get it right, Dave. And there's actually tabs that slide in the back. And a pin in the front. And goes in a little tough. I mean, I should be making sure it runs the reference diskette, so the like the floppy disk controller, I should be making sure that that was good before buttoning everything down. But oh well. Okay. That really wreaks havoc on my noise canceling headphones. So this doesn't have the rails. I mean, I have the rails, as we saw um, with so I'm gonna just have it in there for now. I need to mount it. It's funny, the tabs for that are not as dominant. And we're gonna pull out, rather than using this old the dirty MFM controller, my tape fell. We're going to pull out the controllers that we tested good. Goes in the top slot number 8, closest to the drive cage. Okay. Okay. Feels like it's in there now. I don't think I need to get my tape off the floor. Well, we can go through and we'll, let's see. We have another, not really together, with the clamps. We're going to reuse the cables. Just want to make sure that it's not nicked or anything. Okay, so I'm going to undo this clip because normally the primary drive goes on the end with the twist. And that connector is keyed. Okay. And then your data cable goes there. I can clip everything in later on. Okay. The ground strap wasn't even connected, remember? I don't even know if there's a spot. Okay, there is from where I kind of saw it hanging before. There is a so we can make sure that that drive, even though it's kind of loose in there without the rails, we can make sure that it is grounded. Oh, and I had my webcam image. So you've seen all these phase differences as I moved again. And look at my hands. Okay. So that with the reference diskette and the working drive, it just beeped twice and is loading the reference diskette. And the access light is on, but give these things time. Okay. And we press enter to continue. Okay. And we've got a good battery in there. And so we want to run automatic configuration. Okay. Okay, so I've been doing this live stream for slightly over an hour. Together with the two live streams, it's 2 hours in length. Kind of a total time. Okay, I'm leaving the reference diskette in the drive because I want to go through and set time and date too. Okay. So set features, set date and time. Look at that time or that date. That's crazy. And it's a 4-digit year. It's marking there, of course. So we're going to say 05, and it is the 21st, 2022. And approximate local time. Okay. So we're going to go through. Okay. Let's go through and view. Okay. Type of first drive. Okay. So do we leave it at 0? Because it ran through the automatic configuration before. I'm assuming that everything is good that way. But we will find out. I don't know what drive type that is. I would assume 31 for being the 44 megabyte, but I really don't know. Okay. So we're going to go through. We're going to have to set that drive type. 3212. Find out. IBM. Okay, WD12 says it's a 10 megabyte drive. And that is a so it's going to be a very. Do I have my pocket? I don't know if I have my pocket reference. Okay. IBM AT drive types. Okay. Okay, so type 306 and forehead 17 sectors. That looks like a drive, a type 1 for a 10 megabyte. So this is a this is quite a bit smaller than what it's not the original drive. It's on the system. Somebody tried to put it in. Okay, type 1. No, 01. 01. Okay. So F10 save. Okay, enter. 3. Just want to see if there's something on that drive. Doesn't like that. I think I'm gonna try at. No, I don't want to do. I was thinking that is maybe like a type 2. So here's what I'm going to do. This is a 10 megabyte drive. This is not original. This can be tested elsewhere. And, but I do have and it doesn't have rails either, although I can put some on. Let's go through. Let's just start testing. Looking for where the grounding strap would go on that. Ah, back here. Let's just go through and start testing some MFM drives that I know were original to the Mul 60. Okay. Because there's that strange thing that I thought that the drive was on as a secondary before. It was connected as on the controller as a secondary, and that's not right. Okay. So got everything connected. Have the reference diskette in the drive. Okay, I heard some noises from the. Okay. Gave me the same error, but okay. Set configuration. So remember, this is that type 31 drive. Okay. So F10 to save. Okay. Eject the disk, the diskette. is set for a drive type 31. I need to get some hydration here. I mean, that is a drive type 31, correct? I'm going through from the twist. I'm thinking this should be set correctly on the drive. Okay. And okay. Type 32. Okay. I should have read it before I put it in. I guess the other type that I have is a type 31. So this is a type 32 drive. I still don't have rails. Yes, in fact, the other drive I have here, okay. So this is the drive, the type 31 that I have. And sorry for all the phase difference. So let's go through and let's test this one first. Let me fix my chair. Giving me all sorts of trouble. So let's go through, let's put this other one in first. Since we already have the machine set as a type 31. And then later on, we'll switch to type 32. And test that once again. And I'm just making sure that my headset, of course, it should vocally warn me if my power of my headset, and I think I went for 3 hours and I wasn't still even getting any warning messages or anything like that for all that time. This Anchor headset's pretty good. Okay. Okay. So after the twist at the end of the cable for that control, that 34 pin cable, I hear the hard drive spinning up. Okay. Incorrect machine type. So this must have come from a Mull 80. Stacker software. Huh. Okay. That's interesting. Direct access subdirectory. I'm glad that this is getting recorded. In fact, I'm going to go through briefly, get myself off the screen. Okay. Get myself back on the screen. So it was going through. Let's just exit to DOS. I don't want to really run Windows or anything else like that because it looked like this is expecting to be connected to a Model 80. At least with that EMM 386 warning. Okay. The version, MS-DOS version 5. There's our Windows. That's probably Windows 3.1, maybe 3.11, Windows for work groups. Yeah, that looks okay. So that was a good test. I mean, I could go through and mark what that is on that drive. That was interesting. And then back to our type 32. So we have, and don't drop anything, David. To our type 32. Okay. And sorry for all the phase differences. Okay. Reference diskette in. All cables are connected. Power on. And we will see what our Type 32 drive has. It's going to give us a hard drive warning. Okay, run the reference diskette. Okay. So we're in a set configuration. Okay. Change configuration. 32. We're going to save. And I suppose I could put that 10 megabyte drive in there as a D drive later on, just to test it or something else. Maybe, booting from another, um, being able to boot from one of these hard drives. Because I was pretty sure I had the type correctly, but that drive may just be bad. Okay, we still get an error. I don't have the reference diskette in the drive. So here's what we're going to do. I think we've learned, and I'll probably replace this cable set as well, just because it's dirty, or go through and clean it. So we're not sure that this drive works. But we are sure that our Type 31 works. And I'll get rails on it and things like that for permanent mounting. I've still got to go through and clean the system pretty heavily. Okay. Okay. That's said 31. So why did it have trouble? If it's set to 31, which is correct, that label's right on top. Okay. So the EMM 386. Okay. So we're going to go through. In fact, what does F3 say? Oh, system info. Please do not make illegal copies. Oh, F1 hardware info. Okay. Hard disk info. Okay. I don't know why it's saying 77 megabyte. Oh, the stacker. And that's the physical drive there. The 44 megabyte drive, and it has all the bytes per sectors, and number of clusters. I think that's 4 heads, but I'm not. Okay, 6% is free, but yeah, that's the stacker. Okay. And escape is exit. Exit to DOS. Okay. Okay. And here we're going to just simply REM. Okay. 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 And that is that direct access. So let's go through warm boot. Okay, it's still, and it told me pressing key, and then I've been pressing key. Um, so I'm not sure. Okay. Okay, so I didn't realize that that should cause Stacker so many issues. I just thought I'd get that EMM 386 out of there if, you know, but all it does is give me a warning. So we've got a, I'll go through and I'll fasten down. I still got to go through and fasten down the drive. I got to put rails in and clean up. If we got to start cleaning up this case and everything else too. But I think this is the drive that'll end up going in there for now. If I keep the system complete, that the case and everything else, I do have to go through. I did swap in the working diskette drive from another system, so I'll have to come up with something that I'll have to go through my diskette drives and test them and start even repair for that stuff. Because the just to get a good diskette drive on this as well. But I think that is, I was glad that the planer, despite that, pull it out, you know, put in another, pull it out, that one out, put the original back. I was glad that the planer was good. And maybe if I'd have done that, wouldn't have made the stream quite so long. But that's fine too. And this will be available in replay relatively soon. So far, I've had to go. I went through and I had to switch out the power supply, and I had to go through and put a working diskette drive in. And then figured out that hard drive was not original. For being a 10 megabyte drive, That's not an original drive. And I think it's not necessarily type 1. There may be, it's the same parameters as a type 1, but there's other, maybe a type 3 has the same parameters. And to see, I'll just go keep working on it, because that comes back as being, that WD12 comes back as being a 10 megabyte drive. And so I'd like to go through and test that original drive and see if it, that 10 megabyte drive, and I can put that on a XT or something like that. But as long as it's good. But I think I have at least a good config for now of this, and can go through and start getting things in place, and at least I was able to test some of my other drives, and I do even have another MFM drive to test. It's the same as that bronze colored one. And so let me see how difficult that would be to grab that one. We know it's on this drive. We might as well keep going and try and see if we can go through and get other drives working. I'm going to crawl under the cable again, because the drive I need is out here. Okay. That was my camera setup. I should have just moved the camera setup to the side. As I pulled at the cord and it came tumbling over. But I'll go through and I'll get that tangled up. Yeah, if I just moved it out of the way, and then I wouldn't have been how it's all. Okay. Okay. Me going through and just trying to get another drive turned into more than what I expected. Didn't look like it damaged anything. I could have avoided crawling around. Okay. So this is another type 32. Man, my chair's all messed up too. Okay. Okay, so that sits a lot farther forward than I want. Come on, camera, just work with me. And we will. Okay. I'm going to get this roughly positioned. And then I can always fine tune it. Okay. So let's switch back over to me here. Okay, so we are. Okay. So there we are in position. Got the machine off. This is a type 32 that I'm going to put in here. Okay. So we know what's on that type 31 now. Maybe this type 32 will be more appropriate. Okay. Okay. So we've got ooh. And that powering up didn't sound good. And I should be parking these. There's that move the computer. Okay. Yeah, I didn't like how that spun up at all. Okay, I've got to take a bathroom break. I will mute the Okay, mic unmuted is what it's telling me. Get this camera back in rough position again. It's about right. So I'm gonna have a 2-hour stream right here. I should have gone through and let it be booting. And hopefully that's just some stiction or something else and didn't not any heads. Ooh. Okay, so that it's not wanting to boot either. So both type 31s that I have and do I want to do okay, so it's type 32. So let's go through. I want to try something in that I think I have long enough. Okay. And if I don't, I can go through and I can go through and I can swap. I can look for a longer data cable. Okay. So let's get our working type 31. Okay. Okay. So that data cable is long enough. Okay. So I have Okay, I'm gonna have to get a longer data cable because I don't have one at hand. Okay, that's keyed, so it'll be down. Okay, and I'll move, since I'm not showing the camcorder. Okay. So within the last 24 hours, I think I've been more video recording than I have in a very long time. Okay. Okay, so I don't have a ground strap on this secondary drive. I didn't like the sounds it made when I powered it up before. So let's see if the okay. It's a bootable drive, but still giving me these both these Type 31s and are okay. Uh, okay, fine. Let me get. I don't like. And I shouldn't be pulling cables from these things and jostling this thing around when it's on, especially for the way that I have these in there. Okay. Okay. Save. So maybe this is going to be the only drive that's going to work for me. I'll mark the other ones. Okay. I don't have to press any key. I think it continues automatically. And maybe I just be better just to well, update stacker, but and DOS. I'd have to go through and look at some of those poker programs and other things. I I think that that's going to be uh, a good place to stop, though. I mean, I think I've got a system I can button up and clean up and go through and work with. And so I think next I'll have to figure out and like to do it live stream the same way of going through and working with the 65SX and that Mall Lady Type 3. So I'll have to see when that comes as well. But I've got to do some things for my Saturday as well. And get some more stuff moved around. Hopefully I'll get the new studio set up here soon. And I thank the people that tuned in for this time. I was up to a maximum of 4 viewers, I think, before it everybody maybe bailed, or I know that I think Hugh's still here with me. But so tune in next time when I have a live stream, and I'll be turning out some more videos as well. And so as a sign out, saying this is IBM Museum. That's all I have for now. Thank you. Okay.